Good evening. Thank you all for joining us here this evening. Again, my name is Maggie Lewis, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the president of the City County Council. Let me begin tonight by welcoming you all here to Mayor Hogsett's first State of the City address. Whether community leader, local elected official, or neighborhood leader, your presence here tonight speaks to the passion you feel about our great city. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Krista Morehouse for not only being a gracious host this evening, but also for the work that you do in this community to provide safe and affordable opportunities for citizens of every age. Now will you join me in welcoming Marion County Veteran Service Officer Matthew Hall to the stage for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light was so proudly we hailed at the twilight last gleaming, whose but stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rocky trade glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say it us that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome to the stage, Dr. David Hinckley, Deputy of Liberty for tonight's event.
Good evening. Shalom, Sat Sri Akal, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste. Praise the Lord. Let us join hands in the spirit of unity. Let us be reminded that we are all inextricably bound together. What affects one of us ultimately affects all of us. For we are one people, one city, and one Indy. Shall we pray? Lord, our Creator and Sustainer, we pause to acknowledge your presence. We ask that you open our hearts tonight that we may feel. Open our eyes that we may see. Open our ears that we may hear. Give guidance and wisdom to our mayor and a spirit of collaboration among the citizens of our city. Place your spirit upon us to share good tidings unto the meek, to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and to set free those who are bound. Empower us to improve our quality of life. Endow us with the resources to end hunger and poverty one day. Encourage us in advance for the challenges ahead, and enlighten us so that we may learn from the mistakes which are behind. Humble us where we stand too proud. Strengthen us where we stand too weak. Lift us where we have fallen too low. And unite us where we stand divided. In all things we give thanks. And all God's people said together, amen. And let me acknowledge the person without whom our city really could not be healthy and our mayor could not do his job. That is Steph Hogsett. Let's give a big hand to the one who holds up the arms of the leader of our great city. Thank you.
Now, let's welcome to the stage the 49th Mayor of the City of Indianapolis, Mayor Joe Hogsett.
Please be seated. Good evening. Exactly 131 days ago, we set out on a path of our own accord. We did not choose the easy path, a path of overlooked problems and ignored crises. Rather, we chose a path made difficult by multi-generational challenges. The first being a crime epidemic that with each passing day spreads further and grows more violent. The second being an inherited budget that spends $50 million more each year than it takes in. And the third, the exponential rise in the level of poverty that our city has experienced over the course of the past 25 years. With 1/3 of our children in Indianapolis today born into poverty, and most never escaping. 131 days ago, with a clear eye, we chose to see it all. We chose to confront the challenges of our city as we had inherited them. And we did so as one city. In the remarks I offered on the day of my swearing in, I said that if we are to address all of this, it will require all of us. This city will rise to every crisis only if every citizen will help lift it. For 131 days, this city has begun to rise because the people of this city have lifted it. Because of you, I am proud to report that the state of our city is strong. From the very first day, some of the most gifted people in Indianapolis stepped away from a more lucrative private life to join this administration. They represent the most diverse administration in the history of this great city. It is indeed a leadership team that represents the best of Indianapolis because it looks like Indianapolis. And because of that diversity, the state of our city is strong. Every single morning, our city's police officers and firefighters wake up and put on their uniforms. When they do so, they ask themselves one question: am I willing to put my life on the line yet another day? And every day, every one of them says, yes, I am. It is a very simple but incredibly remarkable thing. Literally thousands of men and women willing to offer everything they have every single day. For that, we owe them their much gratitude. And because of them, the state of our city is strong. And over the course of the past 4 years, controversy has surrounded a handful of projects in Indianapolis. As a result of these disagreements, we ask people to come together and discuss a new way of resolving issues and moving our city forward. This approach brought to a conclusion contentious litigation surrounding the Blue Indy Initiative, and it ended the proposed Advanced Recycling Center. In so doing, This approach has brought to life new, sustainable transportation options, and at the same time, a space has been created for an authentic community dialogue that will foster environmentally sound changes in Indianapolis. I want to thank all of those who sat down at this community table for these community discussions. And because of them, the state of our city is strong. A few weeks ago, I reported that after weeks of effort, our Carrier Task Force recouped over $1.2 million from Carrier, an amount equal to the incentives that Carrier received from the taxpayers of our city. In the coming days, I will ask our City County Council to designate this money to the Carrier Task Force for job placement, job training, education, and other assistance to those adversely affected by Carrier's decision to abandon Indianapolis and to ship 1,400 jobs to Mexico. The workers at Carrier know that whatever may lie ahead, I stand shoulder to shoulder with them every step of the way. And because of them, because of their resiliency, the state of our city is indeed strong. Last week, I was proud to stand alongside Scott McCorkle, the CEO of Salesforce, as he announced his company's commitment to bring 800 new, high-paying jobs to Indianapolis. That announcement is a testimony to the strength of our local economy, to the talent of our workforce, to a tech sector that is making Indianapolis a tech magnet, and to the opportunity that young people will find here in Indianapolis as a result. But it also reflects a statement that I want the rest of our community, that I want our state and our nation to understand clearly and unequivocally. Indianapolis welcomes all. Last month, with bipartisan support, the City County Council passed a series of ethics reforms that will more aggressively regulate lobbyist influence, provide tools for tougher enforcement, and increase transparency and accessibility for the people of this city. By addressing the corrosive impact of those who view government as an opportunity to cash in on cheap friendships, the City County Council acted with honor, with integrity, with intellect, and because of them, the state of our city is strong. Finally, in the midst of a 4-year rising tide of violent crime, we made several fundamental changes in our city's approach to public safety. First, with overwhelming bipartisan support, a public safety reform ordinance was passed. As a result, one of the city's bureaucracies was eliminated. The chiefs of police and fire now report directly to the mayor, and a cutting-edge Office of Public Health and Safety will be created. Over the course of the next 4 years, these reforms will save the city money, they will expand accountability and transparency, and bring a modern, holistic approach to public safety, one that focuses on the root causes of crime, such as poverty and mental health, and one that prioritizes an investment in our young people before they enter the criminal justice system altogether, not after they've already been engaged by it. and this was made possible by a bipartisan group of city county councilors led by Council President Maggie Lewis, Leader Mike McQuillan, Chairperson Leroy Robinson, and Councilor Marilyn Feasterer. They, along with their colleagues on the City County Council, came together to promote sound public policy for our city. Second, consistent with the commitments I have previously made, in 131 days, we have completed a full inventory of abandoned homes in Indianapolis. We have created a resident-friendly online mapping tool that identifies abandoned properties, and most importantly, we have torn down more unsafe and abandoned homes in these 131 days than had been raised in the previous 2 years. Third, for more than 3 decades, Indianapolis has labored under a moratorium on new streetlights. Earlier today, I signed Executive Order Number 3, which without equivocation and with the full force of law ends the moratorium. And in that vein, I'm also pleased to announce that within the next 30 days, we will begin the installation of 100 new street lights, the first set of new street lights that Indianapolis has seen in over 30 years. Fourth, last year, I made a commitment to the people of Indianapolis. I said that we would endeavor to secure over 1,000 summer jobs for young people in our city this summer. With the help of many community partners, some of whom are with us tonight, I am pleased to report that we have done just that. Over the course of the next 9 weeks, more than 1,000 young people will receive the skills, the paycheck, and the simple hope that come with a summer job. And in addition, today I'm also pleased to announce that with our summer jobs program, Indianapolis has been selected by the White House as a summer opportunity hub, the details of which we will be outlining in the coming days. And finally, perhaps most significantly, today I am proud to report that last week, for the first time in over a decade, some 60 police officers spread out over the streets of some of our neighborhoods and began walking and talking to residents, merchants, and retail establishments as beat-based community policing returned to the streets of Indianapolis. And if its results are as successful as I believe they will be, community-based, beat-oriented policing is here in Indianapolis to stay. What we have done in these first 131 days is rooted in a new model of governing. What we have done together has not been party-driven, but coalition-driven. We have focused our efforts around particular issues and the challenges we face, rather than the parties we belong to. And we must keep moving forward in that same fashion. Indianapolis Indianapolis has shown government at its best, government that is driven by those it serves, government that gets things done, government that does more with less. In short, government driven by leaders that care as much, if not more, about the community they serve than the political party they belong to. These, my friends, are leaders that understand that our eyes must remain on the horizon, as we do not have the luxury of looking backward. Indeed, at the very juncture of the three challenges I have previously discussed lies a path that is even more difficult than the many we've already chosen. A decade ago, the city and county faced a jail overcrowding crisis. At that time, Mayor Peterson, Sheriff Anderson, and our courts came together to address that issue head-on in the short term. Over the past 10 years, the momentum created by that period of consensus has been lost as contentious debates, singularly focused on a new building, took hold, and any discussion of holistic reform was pushed to the wayside. In 2013, with the passage of House Enrolled Act 1006, our state made clear its intent to push a significant number of criminals out of the Indiana Department of Corrections and into our local jails. And those changes are now in full effect, as every day our local jail accumulates more criminals that in the past would have gone to state prison. On April 26th, Sheriff John Layton declared a jail emergency. And as of yesterday morning, our entire criminal justice system had capacity for only 49 additional inmates. Yet again, we confront a jail overcrowding crisis. I want to first thank the Criminal Justice Planning Council for their efforts to address this emergency in the short term. But with a $50 million structural deficit, driven in large part by an inefficient and ineffective criminal justice system, we cannot let this crisis pass with just another Band-Aid fix. We cannot pass this problem to another generation, and we cannot afford to allow yet another crisis 5 or 10 or 15 years from now. We must confront this crisis now, and we must make it last. I know that some believe that a new jail is the answer, and we need a new jail. Our current facilities are out of date, inefficient, and unsafe. But while a new jail may be necessary, it is certainly not sufficient. Not sufficient when 30% of inmates suffer from some form of mental illness. Not sufficient when 85% of inmates suffer from substance abuse or addiction. Let me be as clear as I can possibly be. Our criminal justice system is broken, and merely adding more space to house more people isn't the answer. That has been tried, and it did not work. A new building will not solve our crime problems. The time has come for holistic, data-driven, and far-reaching reform in our criminal justice process. The time has come for us to put an emphasis on the identification of nonviolent inmates suffering from serious mental illnesses and to have them receive treatment from healthcare professionals rather than keeping them locked away in jail. The time has come for us to expand diversion and addiction treatment for nonviolent drug offenders rather than keeping them locked away in jail. The time has come for us to more efficiently use community corrections and modern technology for nonviolent low-level offenders to be safely monitored rather than keeping them locked up in a jail. This will require hard decisions. I harbor no illusion. It will require unprecedented cooperation, and it will require government to change, to grow smaller, to work smarter, to do more with less. This morning I signed Executive Order Number 4, creating the City of Indianapolis Criminal Justice Reform Task Force. The task force will be comprised of key stakeholders who will conduct a comprehensive review and investigation of our criminal justice system and make a final and a complete set of recommendations to the Criminal Justice Planning Council for adoption before the end of this calendar year. These recommendations will no doubt include a new jail, but unlike plans of the past, they will not be limited to that. They will look at and create a comprehensive plan of reform for our entire criminal justice system, from prevention, mental health, and drug addiction, to arrest, pretrial detention, community corrections, and sentencing. My fellow citizens, as a former federal prosecutor, I am committing this administration to systemic criminal justice reform for the city of Indianapolis, and it starts today. And that is not all. The foundation for our city's long-term success is a robust system of schools that foster growth, curiosity, and innovation. Without a well-funded early childhood education apparatus, many of our students begin kindergarten and first grade already behind, laying the groundwork for a life without hope, a life without dreams, a life without the means to legally provide for their family, and in all too many situations, a life that enters the school to prison pipeline. During the recent application cycle for the Indianapolis Preschool Scholarship Program, more than 4,000 parents sought support for their 3- and 4-year-old. Unfortunately, we can only fund so many of these high-quality preschool seats, which is why tonight I am announcing that during the next legislative session, one of the city's fundamental priorities will be to seek funding from our state to make quality pre-K education available to every single child in Indianapolis that wants it. And that work begins now. Over the next 6 months, we will hone our arguments. We will build a movement. And in January of 2017, we will take it to the steps of the Indiana General Assembly. Great schools are part of the fabric of any great neighborhood. And it's not enough to have only one great neighborhood in a city. We need to provide every single resident of Indianapolis with close-to-home opportunities to take pleasure in public life. And it's not enough to have just one great place in any neighborhood. You need a number of them to create a truly great neighborhood, which creates a truly great city. Research suggests that that number is 10. 10 things to do in each neighborhood, 10 reasons to be there. Restaurants, coffee shops, art galleries, libraries, parks, public greenways, trails. 10 public spaces where celebrations are held, social and economic exchanges occur, friends run into each other, and cultures mix, and they grow, and they prosper. When these spaces work well, they serve as the stage for our public lives. The City of Indianapolis is proud to be one of the 6 implementation partners in the Great Places 2020 initiative. We are committed as an administration to leveraging our existing resources to invest in these great neighborhoods. In Englewood Village, for example, we are focused on improving infrastructure, growing the Farm 365 project, and helping small businesses expand. In Maple Crossing, transforming Tarkington Park into a destination urban park that will serve more than a dozen neighborhoods and help rejuvenate a key commercial node along a critical transportation corridor. And right here in River West, aiding in the renovation of the desolate Central State grounds into 1899, a beautiful and historic event venue. These are the dreams that I ask you to share with me. These are the dreams that I ask you to help me make real throughout Indianapolis for all of our people in every neighborhood. And with that in mind, with all of our neighborhoods, all of our homes, all of our families in mind, tonight I want to leave you not with something that I have to tell you, although I've done that. I want to leave you with a question I have for you. What if? 5 short months ago, a new generation of leadership was called to serve this city, the city in which we all call home. And so, in the words of Indianapolis's own Kurt Vonnegut, quote, "Here we are, trapped in the amber of this moment. There is no why," end quote. There is no why. There is only how. How we choose to live, how we choose to act. Some will say that in attempting great things, our reach exceeds our grasp. To them I say, yes, it does. Because we've made our choice. In Indianapolis, we dare to dream again. We dare to ask the question, what if? We do this because we live in an ever-changing, dynamic world. We do this because we do not have the luxury of stasis. That is how cities die. Great cities ask, what if? Great cities are places that one must explore to fully appreciate. And Indianapolis is certainly worthy of our exploration. A vibrant downtown, a historic automobile race, historic neighborhoods teeming with culture and art, and one of the largest municipal parks in the nation at Eagle Creek. But what if? The cynics often remind us of Indianapolis's limitations. Indy can't compete with cities set below snow-capped mountains or set beside beaches and oceans. And they're right. We don't have mountains. We don't have beaches or oceans. But we do have a choice. What if, in setting our nation on a course to the moon, a president once told us that we choose to go to the moon and do other things not because they are easy, but because they are hard. We choose to bring peace back to our neighborhoods because it will be hard. We choose to reform our criminal justice system because it will be hard. We choose to bring pre-K to every child in Indianapolis because it will be hard. We choose to bring light into the darkness of some of our neighborhoods because it will be hard. And at the end of the day, let no one say that we took the easy path, that we avoided the tough choices, that we ignored the challenges of our time. For we choose to be one city, and together we rise, we rise, we rise. I thank you.